Just loading up here. Let's see. Yeah, Scoop, actually just make sure you mute yourself when you're not talking, because I can hear like some heavy wiring. I don't know why. But just make sure. But are you good, Scoop? Are you set? Are you live right now?
Oh, he muted himself.
You gotta watch out. I know it's my fault. Unmute yourself.
Oh, God.
I know it's my fault. Unmute yourself, dang it.
Oh boy. All right.
Only on the
I know it's my fault.
only on this show do we start like this. All right.
It's
Yeah.
like Larry Moe and Curly.
Okay.
Three Stooges.
Okay, and you know what? Scoop, I'm gonna start with you because this is what you wrote in our chat. And it was the best thing I've ever heard. It was just a bunch of dots, and then it said, in all caps, he said, "So are the Chiefs good or not? Are the Lions good or not? I am so fucking confused."
Yeah, that's exactly
And-
how I felt watching that game.
And what is with get a stop it tonight? I don't know what that means. I don't
Get a
know if
stop-
that's some
get a stop
hemorrhoid
itis.
cream.
Yeah,
Get a stop. Is that a version of football hemorrhoid cream? I don't know. I have no idea what that is, but okay. And by the way, our answer, I think, in totality, is that both these teams are just average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not wrong. I mean,
with just a wide set of variants, but ultimately it all coming back to the roughly being average on both sides.
Yep.
I mean, we've said it pretty much so far this year that Detroit's defense is shaky at best, which it was again tonight. You know, the Chiefs' offense didn't really throw anything at them that was too crazy. It's just it's just a lot of kind of just little lapses here and there. Lapses in coverage, just a couple breakdowns, but it's really it. I mean, I'm more shocked at how the Lions offense played tonight. I mean, that just did not look like Lions football. You know, everything
not from the first 5 weeks. No way.
like everything looked just disjointed, out of sync. I mean, some throws were a little bit offline for Goff. I mean, he was under pressure a little bit too tonight, but still. See, that's one thing that I said last year, or hell, I think I even said the year before. The one problem I have with Jared Goff, because he's not a mobile quarterback, if you pressure him, he's not going to do well. Tonight, that was the case. They pressured him, didn't do well.
And I still thought the Lions' offensive line in certain pieces was pretty solid. Scoop, how do you feel
about that in particular, or
just
about
the game in general? Because I know you were
Okay.
very upset about it. Clearly,
it wasn't even that I was upset. Like I actually, comparatively to recent primetime games, I thought this was actually a decent game compared to some of the other ones we've gotten.
oh,
but-
absolutely. We'll get to one. We'll get to the shitty one later.
Yeah. But I was, as I was watching this unfold. Well, first and foremost, let's all agree, or I'm sorry, I'll say, can we all agree that this game should not have had 4 penalties on Detroit and 0 on Kansas City?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah. So I think that again, I'm not going to say that was the difference, but it didn't help, is what I'll say. The same thing I said last week about the team that we'll get to in a little bit, I'm sure.
And it just feels abnormal, right? Like it's not something they're going to do every week.
It feels abnormal, and it's just, that whether it's fair or not, that the narratives this week about Kansas City getting a game against Detroit with no penalties called in their own stadium is not going to go over well.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
So anyway, surprisingly, for the most part, the teams on the juxtaposed on the stat lines, for the most part, were pretty comparable. There was, the time of possession, was barely a minute difference. But just watching everything unfold, and the one thing that I noticed early on is that for a while to start the season, which I thought was weird, not today, but I thought was weird the way that it had gone up to this point. They had just the Lions in particular on offense. They had disproportionately leaned heavily on 11 personnel and on one tight end formations, which was kind of dis sorry, kind of antithetical and kind of counterintuitive from my vantage point of what their personnel is and what they're built to do. So today we saw them show up more in 12 sets and in two tight end sets and whatnot, and I thought that was going to work to their advantage, but evidently, and again, the it just for a while neither team could get a freaking stop. Like it was just it was weird. Like the way this game started, it was so offense heavy that you looked at one point and you were like, how is this a single like how did each team only have a single digit score? Like this felt like a game that should have been 20 to 20 something to 20 something.
And the other piece of this too that I think you will get to at some point, but I can push you towards it, is I'm kind of getting annoyed by a lot of the NFL teams just as a whole going for it on fourth down, particularly with these two. I mean, early on in the game, the fourth downs were pretty ugly. The decisions were kind of ugly.
So here's what I'll say. That doesn't annoy me that much. I mean, one, just because I tend to be, I tend to see the advantage in typically going for it in a lot of situations on fourth down. Two, other than perhaps Philly. I mean, the poster child for going it going for it on fourth down the last 2 years really has been Dan Campbell. With the exception of maybe former Chiefs head coach Brandon Staley, Chargers head coach. My apologies. But
what is he doing now? I'm
Brandon
sorry,
Staley?
you just brought up a very weird name.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, Brandon Staley right now is the offensive coordinator. I'm sorry, defensive coordinator for the Saints.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Continue.
Anyway, but just so anyway, to get back to the Lion Chief game, again, it just the play just looked a lot more comparable on both sides. Like, excuse me, Goff and Mahomes, one had a passer rating of 119, one was of 132. Neither threw a pick. 200 or slightly over 200 passing yards. Goff went 23 for 29. Mahomes went 22 for 30. Like, it was astonishingly comparable from both sides when it comes to that. What it came down to, I mean, obviously the penalties, did make a difference to what extent can be debated, obviously. But, this was a game where for a while neither team could get a stop, and at the end of it all, the Chiefs just happened to make a couple big plays when they needed to, and getting a turnover on downs when they needed to, and it really was going to come down to who made fewer mistakes. It sounds cliche, but this was a prime example of that type of game where it was really just going to come down to who effed it up less, or at least in the less pivotal moment. And I thought this was, I love watching really clean games, which I thought for the most part this was. I mean, both sides forced a fumble, but
it was clean up until the last minute when when Brian Branch fought somebody, and he'll probably get suspended for it.
Yeah, well, I meant clean. I meant like not a lot of ball being loose and one thing or another. But technique and fundamentally wise, I guess you'd say, for, like you said, at least the first 58 or so minutes. But again, I can't help but think that the Lions, David Montgomery was not nearly used as much as I would have hoped or expected, especially if you're looking at him as like not even a 1-2, as like a 1A and 1B with Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm sorry, I don't want to see one guy getting 17 touches and one guy getting 4.
That's bizarre. That's not normal.
No, it's not. And it just is. So that was one thing that really definitely stuck out to me. I can't say much about the receiving game because nobody who got, nobody missed more than one of their targets. Williams got a touchdown. Laporta got a touchdown. He didn't get a touchdown, but even Montgomery in the receiving game got a 23-yard reception. So, again, and it's just I think that Dan Campbell is, I know some people are still not fans of him. I happen to think he's a very good coach. I think that he and this team, especially for losing two coordinators, or I should say losing both coordinators, I guess, for being 4-2 right now, I don't think that they are, I think that there's a lot of teams that have 4 wins that are in more precarious situations than they are. But again, it was just the only way I can sum it up is confusing because this Lions team should be better than they played today. This Chiefs team did not look as good throughout most of the season, and we were just kind of waiting for when are they going to show up? When are they going to show up? And then they showed up today in arguably their biggest game yet. So again, I don't know what to make of either one. It's easy to I shouldn't say it's easy to say. It seems reasonable to say both are average, but for average teams, they both have just insanely high ceilings and low floors. That it's like for average teams on any given day, either one of these average teams can pull you, could sock you in the mouth, Mike Tyson style, or can fall over and crumple like a leaf.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon, the thing is, throughout the entire league, that's how we're feeling through 6 weeks. Is what Scoop just mentioned. It's just like every team is inconsistent. Every team's very up and down. In what we expect the top of the league to be at this point, right? So, I mean, it's a consistent theme, I think.
There's still times where I'm like, in past years, it feels like we get to like week 6 and there's maybe like 1 or 2 teams that does stand out above the rest. And, through the weeks, it's like, at week 6 now, the Bucks are 5-1, but they're not playing like a 5-1 football team. And, they're like, but then you look at the rest of everybody else who's got 4 wins, 3 wins, whatever. And it's like,
well, the Colts also have 5 wins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And they looked ugly today defensively against Arizona. That was ugly, to be fair.
That's why I just forget it. I always forget about the Colts being 5-1. But it's like none of these teams look like what their record is. Like the Chiefs are 500 after tonight, but they look like they should be 1-5. And then the Lions are 4-2, but we don't know what the hell they are. Like they probably should be 5-1, or hell, they should probably even be 6-0. You get to the Bucks. The Bucks are 5-1, but the Bucks probably should be like 2-4. As much as Baker's playing out of his mind, that defense for the Bucks is terrible. And not only is it terrible, but like you can't keep relying on these kind of comebacks and whatnot and like close games throughout the whole season. It's not going to last. And we say that every year. So just nobody looks ready. The Bills had a tough game against the Saints. And they go and then they come home and play the Patriots last week, and the Patriots, for lack of a better word, just out physical them. Philly was supposed to have a get right game against the Giants and got their doors blown off them. So it was like, nobody really looks like what their record is, and nobody really looks like they're not comfortable. None of these teams look like they have an identity yet. Like
it's week. This is going to be one of those years, and roundtable. We'll do a lot of roundtable today. Let me know if you agree. I think by Thanksgiving, we're still not going to know what these teams are.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to know absolutely anything, which is usually amazing.
Usually, we kind of do know by Thanksgiving. I don't like. And then we start kind of knowing, like, at least the top teams by Halloween. By Halloween, we're still not going to have a clear top team.
Halloween is in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2.5. I got a question for y'all actually about teams so far. Either one of y'all want to throw out a guess? So we talk about a lot of things that people talk about is that one of the most important things is to win the turnover battle. That's what a lot of coaches and teams talk about.
Mhm.
Anyone want to have a guess as who's leading the turnover battle in the NFL, team-wise?
Oh my God. Who's played the Raiders the most?
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, because Gino has 9. Gino. We'll get to the Raiders, but Gino's probably going to get benched at some point. There's no way they're going to keep him out there. Not saying Aiden O'Connell is like incredible, but oh my God, Jesus, it's got to be some out of the box team. Is it Denver?
No, Denver's actually one of the worst.
Okay, that makes sense. What's your guess, Brandon?
Ah, man. I mean,
This should be obvious, but it's not.
I'm gonna say you know what? Oh no, it can't be. I was gonna say because I mean they're terrible, but their defenses. I'm thinking of a good defense, so I was thinking like Cleveland. But
Cleveland is worse than the Broncos.
wow,
Oh my Lord, what the hell is the NFL?
I'm thinking of a good what? The Vikings.
The Vikings are right just in front of the Broncos. Like you're picking all. Like,
Oh
of the
my
bottom
God.
half.
Okay, wait, Scoop, please tell me who this is. Who is it?
Okay, so at +8 through 6 games, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Okay, that makes enough sense.
Yeah.
and then through 5 games, +7 the Steelers and +6 the Lions.
I was gonna
Okay.
guess the Steelers too, but I was like, but when Rob said, "Oh, it has to be out of the box," I'm like, no, then it can't be the Steelers.
Yeah,
Like-
no, it well, and the Jags are helped a lot by an easily league-leading 14 takeaways. Nobody else has more than 10. And then the Steelers are the team that has the 10 takeaways and only have given it away 3 times.
The thing with Jacksonville is like today against the Seahawks. Seahawks were thoroughly better. So like the turnovers don't really teach us much, I guess, when we're thinking about
Yeah, it doesn't
Jacksonville.
say everything. It's just very interesting to me because like
Yeah.
it's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like it's something, but it isn't everything.
Yeah. And that will lead us right into our game that we're doing today.
Yay.
I'll add some extra tidbits. I have some press conference stuff that I want to get to. This was a fun press conference week. We should have a press conference segment at this point because they're just so good every
Yeah.
week for some reason. But the game that I came up with when talking to Brandon earlier today was
I have no clue what this is. So this is gonna be my first time hearing any of this.
Yeah. We're going to go through all 32 teams and you tell me if their defense is good or bad. Just straight up because the point we're trying to figure out is how many teams in the league actually have a trash defense.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're just going to go one by one. Buffalo,
Bad.
awful.
Bad. Yeah.
Scoop,
Wait. So like, are we? I'm a little bit confused by what this game is, honestly. So
basically all we're doing is saying, do you have a good defense? Do you have a trash defense?
Like what do you
Good
like
or
basically do you think this like Rob will throw a defense out? Do you think it's good or bad? Like do you think it's
okay?
Yeah.
So it's a lot more simple than I thought.
yeah.
Yeah. That's all we're doing.
Okay.
So Buffalo's bad.
Bad.
Buffalo's bad.
Yeah. I would say bad.
Okay. New England.
Good.
Yeah, good. I would say.
Are they good?
Good enough. I think they're good enough.
Is it enough to put them in good?
That's
How
a
many?
good way
Wait,
to
how
put it.
many points did the Saints score on them today?
19.
19, I guess. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, and that's in the Big Easy, which is considered one of the harder places to play.
Yeah.
Fair. Drake May was phenomenal. This guy looks like a star.
Yeah.
Scoop, do you have anything on Drake May? I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not gonna take too much again about what someone does against the Saints.
True.
But I will say definitely from someone last year. I don't remember where I had him last year in my draft rankings, but it definitely wasn't above third.
He's
So
growing.
yeah, he definitely is impressing me more than I thought he would for sure.
All right. Miami.
Do they have anything that's good? But yeah, Yeah, I'll say I'm pretty sure that they're bad.
Yeah, I'll say bad.
They're bad. They're bad. Press conference time. Here's our first one. Here was Tua and Coach Mike
Damn,
McDaniel.
I was gonna say you only gave us like 4 defenses.
We're still
Oh, I
going.
heard,
Okay.
I heard this press conference.
It's pretty telling.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
So that was Tua, and then here was Mike McDaniel.
It sounds like there was something on his mind with regard to the specific meetings with a couple individuals that he was trying to get corrected by being with direct communication. So clearly he's sending a message. But from my standpoint, everything that asked of the guys, they have delivered on. And so I'm sure whomever he's talking to, they'll deliver as well.
So, I mean, it's quite a dichotomy. I mean, we've learned that Miami is notorious for not showing up to meetings. Tua just basically confirmed it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't necessarily love your quarterback going out and saying that, but I also didn't love Mike McDaniel's response. Brandon?
Yeah, and it just shows you that both of them gave the PR friendly answers for basically we are not on the same page. And
But it wasn't that PR friendly. It was like minimal PR friendly.
As PR friendly as you can be while being a pissed off, crap team. So I just think that, when Tua's out there, pretty much putting his own teammates on blast for not showing up to meetings, it's like we already knew that, but to put your own teammates on blast is like, that's like, wow. And then for Mike McDaniel to be like, oh yeah, like he's just calling a couple guys out, but yeah, he might be calling a couple guys out, but he's also talking about your culture. So like the fact that, and you're saying that, like you saying that the guys have delivered versus like what Tua is saying, it's like, it's two, like it really is two different things. Like who's telling the truth here? But I think the thing is,
it's also it also just doesn't sound like the expectations are
that high.
Well, that's not where I was going with that. It doesn't sound like the expectations are. It sounds like the expectations are being perceived as to be two different sets of them, and it's and like so it sounds like because one person can say expectations are being met and the other one can say that they aren't, and that implies that the expectations are different by each of the two different people, and from my vantage point, you would perceivably, if that's even a word, you'd want your quarterback and your head coach to be pretty in lockstep as to what the expectations are, not just for the offense but the whole team and the whole locker room. And excuse me, and let's also take stock of this. Tua is a pretty soft-spoken guy. He's a pretty PC guy.
Yeah.
He's not this kind of, I love Baker Mayfield, but he's not like a Cleveland Baker Mayfield type. He's not he's not one of these guys that's going to just go and throw somebody under the bus. He's not a Zach Wilson in New York. He's not a who was the coach last year that aired out Will Levis? So it was Brian Callahan, I guess.
Freaking Brian Callahan.
So like he's not one of these guys. So for him to say something like that, something had to have happened that really pissed him off. Like it's you also I think have to contextualize things when they happen. And this is not somebody who's just going to go out there and Bobby Valentine his guys.
Like it's like that's it. Just shows you like when because I mean everybody at some point in their lives has obviously worked a retail job or any job where it's like you have to report to management about things or whatever it is. So, one thing that everybody talks about in every job, not just sports, is the expectations. So when one party is saying the expectations are being met and the other one isn't, that tells you how the whole ship is being run. So,
Or
you know,
not wrong.
or in this case, really not run. So it's just showing you that pretty much from the top down, everything is just faulty. The management, front office, coaching staff, players, and then of course, and at the very end, the on-field product. So it's all a mess. And the thing is, we've known this about Miami for a couple of years now, but it's finally hit rock bottom. So, there's really nowhere for them to go from here. And this is why we've said every week, or pretty much we've hinted at it every week, like, Mike McDaniel's going to end up going at some point. It's just
in my mind, and I'm been a fan of Mike McDaniel. I respect Mike McDaniel. I think he's a good offensive coach. But, and yes, I agree with Brandon that if he does end up out of a job, I think Howie Roseman needs to be one of the first calls made to him. If only for due diligence purposes. But when you hear something like that, and you have something like that being said again from Tua Tagovailoa of all people, when if you named the 32 quarterbacks in the NFL and you rank them by most order likely to air somebody out in a press conference, he would have to be in the bottom 5 at least.
Well, it's all the Bama guys, because they're all the Nick Saban, school of guys.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, go ahead.
No, so I was just gonna help you and say, like, all the guys from Bama are like that. Like, Mac Jones was like that.
Yeah.
Tua's like that. Jalen's like that. Like,
well, So my point being is, like, if you're gonna get that from one of those guys, like, I mean, that's about as damning of a condemnation and is damning of a or scathing of an indictment as you can get almost, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
My apologies. The YouTube had a little bug, so it just started up right now. But what we were talking about is the Chiefs game being weird with the Lions and how we felt like both teams were average. And now we're going through every team and talking about their defense. So we said Buffalo is not good. New England's good. Miami is not good. And now we're going to go to the lonely New York Jets with one of the worst football games ever seen, especially overseas. I mean, we're all going to say bad, but what the hell was that? Why did I wake up early for that? Why did we do this?
But you're the only one that does. I don't turn the game on until it's like the end of the third quarter or in the fourth, because that's when I get up.
By the way, I slept through the second half. My body was like, well, I'm not doing this.
Rob, there were people in that time zone who didn't wake up for that game.
Yeah.
That is very true. I mean, it was 2 p.m., but
I mean, we talk about quarterbacks holding on to the football, and like, even if nobody's open. But Justin Fields today, it's like, I already know he can't throw, but you are holding on to the ball for like 10 seconds after the ball is snapped every play. Like, you either got to just take off and run, or just throw the damn thing away. Like, you can't get hit that much like he did today. Hell, he got hit. He got hit one of the plays. He got sacked. His helmet came off. Like,
He got sacked 9 times.
Yeah. He got
only had
battered.
2 first downs in the first half.
Did you guys see what his yards per attempt was?
I didn't see that.
2.6. Damn it, the 3 of us could throw it farther than that.
Yeah. And I'm literally, we're sitting here doing a show tonight that we've done every week and whatnot. We have more passing yards today than Justin Fields did.
I woke up at 1 a.m. to try to watch this game. I don't know how I'm still alive right now.
We literally have more.
That is the most masochistic thing I think I've ever heard, Rob.
I agree.
We legit have more net passing yards than Justin Fields did today. He had -10.
-10, yep.
Like, people don't understand. He had 45 in total, like for the game stats wise, net 10 for the game. Like, I don't even think any of us would struggle to get 45 on an NFL field. Like, you know how hard it is to throw for less than 50 yards in an entire game? Like, that's just.
Do you know how hard it is for the Broncos to only win by 2?
Yeah, with Justin Fields throwing for 45 yards. If you would have told me Justin Fields threw for 45 yards against this Broncos defense, and they sacked him 9 times, how is the final score 13-11?
Well, that was the next thing that I was going to bring up is like we're talking about how horrible this appearance was for Justin Fields, as we should. For how abysmal for the Jets this was, as we should. And the Broncos only won by 2 and only scored 13 points. Like, in a way, to me, that's worse.
And it just shows
Oh,
how
it's much
bad.
worse.
Look at their offense. Their leading receiver in today's game was Evan Ingram, who had 5 catches for 42 yards. That's it. Everybody else had 30 yards or less receiving. And the Jets defense is not good to begin with.
Their longest reception was 26 yards by Marvin Mims Jr.
Yeah. So yeah, that much. He finished with 30. So one big catch.
Which means his one other reception was for 4 yards.
Oh my God. Like I don't understand, and Rob made this point to me throughout the day, not just, before we came on, but throughout the day, the Broncos still look like they are playing preseason football.
They're the most preseason football team I've ever seen.
Do you mind explaining what you mean, just so I can have a better understanding of what you're talking about?
So when you watch preseason football, right? It's very okay. If you ever do, which you shouldn't anyway. Basically, it's very vanilla. It's very cookie cutter. Everything is so basic, right? Like for the whole game, starters, just everything feels so basic.
It's not high scoring.
Broncos,
yeah,
it's not high scoring.
Oh, just like get your 3 plays in and then get out of there.
Yeah. And that's really what the Broncos are for 4 quarters. I can't think of another way to describe it, honestly. I really can't.
I mean, really,
because how else to describe a team we had conversations about, hey, this could be a really fun AFC contender through 6 games, and including this one in flipping London, which, sorry, England, we broke your damn footballing joy today. Thanks, Roger Goodell. Thanks to the schedule. Whoever decided this, the people who decided this, whoever did, multitude of people. They don't, it's like they don't have a gear. It's like they're not awake. I don't know how to explain it because I've never seen a team that has this much expectation, at least not have some sort of thing that I can be oh, I want to talk about this specific thing with the Broncos. I don't have anything. Through 6 games, I'm they just look like they're playing preseason. Every game.
It just seems like they literally don't have anything but a first gear and maybe a slightly higher first gear. That's it.
And honestly, it's not even first gear. It feels like 5th or 6th.
I don't want to disrespect him, but is anyone else getting the feeling the more that time goes on that Drew Brees gets a lot more credit for that one Super Bowl in NOLA than does Sean Payton?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because I'm sorry, you've had 7 quarterbacks between both NOLA and Denver and you can't make one of them freaking work for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I just when it comes to the Broncos, I just don't understand what they're doing. I have no idea.
Sorry, go ahead, Brandon.
No, I'm just trying to think. Maybe it's my Ducks bias, but Bo Nix is not a bad quarterback. He completed almost 66% of his passes today.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but
no, I know.
That's why I mentioned Peyton, because it's I think that he's a quarterback that fits the type of offense that Sean Payton wants to run. But Sean Payton, Sean Payton is running like a 1984 type offense where it's
that is true. Yeah.
We talk about Brandon, you and I talk about freaking, you know who would be his perfect offensive coordinator for how lax and how vanilla his playbook is freaking Kevin Patullo, because there's absolutely no creativity. There's absolutely nothing dynamic is probably the word that I would use about, you know, it. I get that when you're, you know, I get that he's a pocket passer guy. I get that he likes his pocket passer guys. I get that he likes his, you know, guys who can be, you know, sort of field general type guy. But even freaking Dak Prescott today was playing that type of offense, but made it at least look a little bit more unpredictable and made it look a little bit more, excuse me, like it had some sort of, you know, modern day juice to it. Like it's you know, it's like when you go up against somebody on Madden who just is hitting quick pass every, you know, for 4 quarters straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about it. It's a mess.
Like, you know what I wonder too? It's like a lot of coaches are like, you know, was it prisoners of like their own success, where it's like once they get a little bit of success, it's like then they just keep sticking with what works until they find themselves out of the league. And that's like, you know, that's what it feels like with guys like Sean Payton, John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick, like those guys, you know, once they got tasted success, they just even Pete Carroll doing the same thing over and over and over. It doesn't matter what personnel you had, you
And
kept
trust
trying.
the same players. He has basically the same roster they had in Seattle in Vegas.
Like that's the problem. Like that's just the biggest problem, is that you have to adapt to the game. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call things my way and have it work. We say this every week. You know, the best coaches, the best teams, they can adapt. They can change on the fly. They can make halftime adjustments. But guys like that are
And they play to their players' strengths. They don't. They adapt their schemes to their players. They don't try to adapt their players to their schemes.
That's what I'm getting at. Is like, you know, yeah, we said that Bo Nix would be okay in Denver's system, and he is the right quarterback for that system. But at the same time, I don't think any of the other guys really are. So, like, and I think that's a big problem. You know, like it's just really tough to watch, because you know, yeah, you want the right quarterback. Every coach wants the right quarterback to fit their system, but even when you get it, you have to surround him with guys that will also fit the system. Not just a bunch of mishmash kind of guys, or not, you know, or not even just that. Bo Nix is the right guy to fit the system, but if the system is outdated, it's not going to work. That's why Mac Jones in New England with Belichick didn't work. It worked for one season, and then they blew it all up for whatever reason. So like,
and why do you think what's going on with UNC and Belichick is happening how it is?
Yeah.
Doesn't work in college either.
Yeah, no.
And now Mac Jones is in hospitalville and actually having somewhat decent numbers.
Yeah. Mac
He's
Jones
good.
really throwing for
Looks
300 yards
good.
every week. Like
Mac Jones should start.
Yeah, like Mac Jones should be a starter. I said this even when he left New England. I said he should be a starter somewhere. Mac Jones had a great rookie year.
Am I tweaking, or was he one other place before San Francisco? Was he in Jacksonville, or am I?
Yeah, it was in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back home in Jacksonville, yeah.
But like once he left New England, I said because everybody was like putting the blame out on what happened in New England on him, and I'm like, did we not see his rookie season and how good he was with when he had nothing to work with? I'm like,
it was so impressive.
Mac Jones is a starter in this league, and the fact that he's even proving it now. So guess what? If I'm a team that needs a starter for next season, because I mean this year is gonna, you know, he's happy in San Fran doing what he's doing this year. But if you need a starter next year, someone better be looking to pay Mac Jones, because
easily.
Because between his first year in New England and now, you know, like we said, all guys that go to San Fran, their careers get revived. They become way better quarterbacks than what we thought they were. So honestly, some teams got to take.
What happened? Is it your cat? I knew it was your cat. I knew. Yeah. Did your cat just like go? Did what happened with your cat?
Ran her freaking cold ass nose up against the back of my leg.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, you're not expecting it. It's like a shock. Yeah, but you know, so it's like, you know, Sam Darnold went through it. Jimmy G's gone through it. Jimmy G is the perfect example. Played New England behind Brady, but played New England. Had a little bit of success when he played, and then goes to San Fran. Everything gets fixed. Like everything becomes 10 times better.
I think that's probably one of the main things that's keeping Kyle Shanahan where he is, and like giving him the goodwill to get through some of this other crap
he's a
that he
QB
gets.
fixer. He's literally a
Yeah.
QB fixer. Like
Same with Kevin O'Connell. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Well, I think O'Connell has more to him than that, because I think he's got a lot of things culturally, like
Yeah.
in terms of culture building wise, that I know are getting rave reviews behind closed doors. But like Shanahan for a while, I mean, y'all know that I was asking over and over, like, how does he keep getting passes? How do you keep getting passes? It's probably something, I shouldn't say it's probably something like this. This is, got to be a bigger part of it than I realized, because, I'm sure that there's very few coaches who could do what he, did there. And I guess I was overlooking how important that could probably be considered to be.
Like,
Yeah.
if there's 3 coaches that I want around my quarterback, or that I believe can instill at least a decent culture in the NFL, it's Shanahan with how he fixes QBs. It's Kevin O'Connell, and it's probably Stefanski. I like Stefanski a lot, and the thing is, I hate that Cleveland is kind of scapegoating him a little bit, because that team is just not good enough to win anything, and he's getting everything he can out of it. So
Also, don't make Dylan Gabriel throw 57 times. How about
what
that?
the hell is that all about? Like that game.
But I saw that it was. I checked, and it said 52. Where I was looking, obviously over 50, regardless.
It doesn't matter if it's 52 or 57. Not over 50. Get out of here.
Even over 40 is too.
In week 2, no less.
Like even over 40 is too much for a rookie quarterback like Dylan Gabriel. I think he threw, was it 30 times last week? Whatever it was, around the low 30s.
That was my point. In his second career NFL game, when he wasn't supposed to be starting this season, at least as far as we knew, he is out there being asked to throw 52 times against a Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, what do you expect him to do? Like,
that
what
doesn't
do you
work.
expect him
That
to do?
doesn't work for any quarterback throughout the history of the NFL. That doesn't work for anybody. So why are you asking a rookie to do that?
Well, yeah, and again, this is not a rookie that has, this is not a rookie that has, a Jerry Rice up there, or even has, an AJ Green or a Randy Moss or
he's got a Jerry, but it's the wrong Jerry. It's Jerry Jeudy.
He's got
Jerry Jeudy stray, of course.
My second least favorite Jerry in the NFL. But looking, and again, Brandon and I obviously are both big on Gabriel and both want him to succeed, obviously. But I watched that today, and we said it. I don't remember if it was on WTS or if it was on this show. But Brandon, you and I said last week, they didn't ask him to do too much last week, but the question is, do we trust him to not, or do we trust him to stick with that going forward? And it didn't take them long to show why we don't trust Cleveland to do anything when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's like, I wonder how much of that really is just Stefanski grasping at straws, trying to save his job by trying to hit on Dylan Gabriel, and how much
that would seem so counterintuitive to me, though, because in what universe has forcing a guy to throw, as a rookie, forcing a guy to throw more times to a receiving core that is not only knocked around, but doesn't have a high ceiling to begin with? In what universe has that ever been a recipe for success?
Yeah.
So to me, the argument that he's trying to save his job, to me, I don't see how that works, because if you're trying to save your job, you should be even more careful about bringing the guy along slowly.
Yeah, I guess they were just tired of, well, because even so, this is the one year where it's like, I still like Stefanski overall, but
yeah, I do too. That's who I wanted in Cleveland back in 2020 or whenever.
But like, it's like he's not a 2-time coach of the year for nothing. Like
Exactly.
like that means something. So
Yeah.
so like,
especially in Cleveland.
So, but I'm just like, I'm wondering why this year, just in particular, why he's making his quarterbacks throw a ton more than what they're using. He's making a 41-year-old Flacco throw a ton.
I will say this. He doesn't have the O-line that he had most of his time in Cleveland. A good amount of time in Cleveland, he had Nick Chubb, who for a while I considered the best running back in the NFL. You don't got
Yeah.
him no more. So I think that's something that's getting overlooked because we and again, not to beat a dead horse, but someone in the organization, and I have my suspicions as to who it was, someone in the organization decided to move off of the best quarterback they've had since Bernie Kosar. And so everything that personnel wise allowed him to have the year that made him offensive coach, or I'm sorry,
Coach of the year.
Yeah. And when I say everything personnel wise, that because I don't want to disrespect the fact that obviously he had to do a fantastic job regardless in order to win that award. So I'm not trying to say that he won just because of who he had. But so all those pieces that were there that, so those guys are not there anymore. Now, some of those are circumstantial, guys get old, guys get injured. Nick Chubb had one of the worst running back injuries ever. Of my time as a football fan, which is a decade and a half now. So it just some of that's circumstantial. But again, he is, and I can't stress this enough. I like Andrew Berry. I respect Andrew Berry, and I think he's a good executive. But Kevin Stefanski is reporting to one of the worst owners in the NFL in recent memory, in Jimmy Haslam, who I have way more knowledge and understanding about what makes him so piss poor as an NFL owner than any non-Browns fan ever had by their own free will.
You've talked about that before on this show.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So but following this whole thing, it's just I respect the Kevin Stefanski, and I'm glad that they haven't punted on him because I've watched them punt on coaches and quarterbacks way sooner than I thought that they should.
Mhm.
So I'm glad they haven't done that with him. But Jimmy Haslam's not going to fire himself. So I'm willing to bet that at some point the bill's going to come due for at least one of Berry or Stefanski. And I don't think it's fair for it to be either one of them because again, like I said, I think that if I can think of the three moves that I think put them in the situation that they're in now in a negative light, to me, that they all come back to Haslam.
Yeah, and then on top of that, what if Baker wins the MVP, which he's on track to winning right now?
I
hope he does.
I hope he does too. And I'll just say it. Anybody who didn't watch the 49ers Bucks game today, go back and watch the play where he had a pocket that somehow managed to collapse twice.
And he just ran right through it.
Stay on his feet. And this so-called not a mobile quarterback, Baker Mayfield, basically channeled the light version of Josh Allen, the 5'11" version of Josh Allen, and took off like a freaking bullet down the left sideline. And
unbelievable.
Yeah. I've never been closer to buying a Buccaneers jersey in my life.
Bro, he broke like 2 tackles on that run too. Like,
yeah. And again, and that's why I mentioned his size, because Josh Allen is 6'6". He's a big dude that grew up playing in Wyoming, etc. Baker Mayfield, for as much as I like him and as much as I respect his game as a quarterback, he's not a huge guy. So the fact that he was able to do that and is not being a super athletic.
You know what it is? It's just Baker Mayfield runs off pure adrenaline. Like,
yeah, he's just an adrenaline junkie. I love that.
Yeah, well, it's like Madden really needs. How they have like different ratings for like 87 different things. They really need a vibes rating, because Baker Mayfield would lead in that every single year until he retires.
Just do an old vibes ultimate team.
99 vibe, 99 adrenaline, all Baker Mayfield.
Yes. Yeah, and you can thank probably Colin Cowherd for 87% of that.
Jesus. All right. Let's go through more.
Sorry about that. I
took
us off track here.
No, it's fine. That's as on track as we can go there. Pittsburgh. I think it's a yes for defense. They're solid enough.
I think they're good enough.
See, again, we're saying good enough here, not great.
Yeah.
Scoop Pittsburgh defense.
Yeah. Honestly, for a second, I forgot we were still doing that segment. Yeah. So, sorry. Sorry.
Bro, you're breaking down. What is happening? I swear, Scoop is like a robot that malfunctions halfway through our show. At some point.
You ever? Please tell me you guys have ever watched the old movie, the Uncle Buck.
No, I haven't seen
What's
it.
it? What's an Uncle Buck? And
God.
and just real quickly to go back to what we were saying about Pittsburgh. I'll say good, not great.
Okay, totally
Yeah,
fine.
it's
Bengals, we know the answer. Awful.
Suck.
Baltimore, we know the answer.
Yep,
Awful. Cleveland, good.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good, but don't have an offense.
And in my opinion, Cleveland is one of those teams that should be better if their offense could give them literally any help.
Yeah.
I mean, not that's consensus in my book. Indianapolis. I felt better about it until today. How do you
Yeah.
let Jacoby Brissett just run all over you like that?
Okay, so I'm going to disagree with you on that only because I feel like for a while, I feel like there's been a lot of instances in the NFL in recent years where we see just these one guy, there are these one game takeovers for these backup quarterbacks that, these defenses, that they're not used to preparing for them and
Yeah.
one thing or another. So I'm willing to forgive that a little bit. If I see that again, I'm going to be much more concerned.
Yeah, that's how I
Okay,
feel.
so
Yeah.
that's a really good point. I'll say yes for now.
Yeah. So I'm still willing to say yes for the Colts.
Jacksonville, I think we can firmly say yes on that,
Yeah.
considering
Yeah,
the
I'd say yes.
turnovers. Houston, no. I mean,
No, not really.
no.
I'm really torn with this because there are things about it to like, but
I don't think it's enough though.
excuse me, sorry. But see, here's the thing: is they've held all of their opponents in the first 5 weeks to 20 or fewer points. So
So a lot of it's more the offense, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That's it's like that's really the best way that I can put it because and they're not going up. I mean, we just talked about Jacksonville being a potential a team that's really come on, and they only allowed 17 to Jacksonville in Jacksonville. The Buccaneers, they allowed 20 to them.
Rams 14.
Rams 14 in LA week 1. Like this, it's just I get why people would have trepidation about it, but so far, I think we're getting to the point in the season where it's just the concerns that I have about them. I don't know how heavily you can say, that's because of a bad defense.
Yeah, I think we can
you
say
know what?
yes on it then.
Yeah, you know what I think it is? I think it's just CJ Stroud just devolving before our eyes.
And
like-
that offensive line is one of the worst things
Yeah.
in human history.
Well, it's even CJ Stroud. I mean, 71% completion percentage, 103 passer rating. Like, they're so hard to pinpoint.
Well, also, I would say like the stats tell one thing, but the actual game footage is quite ugly.
Yeah, because he's been very up and down. Like, and I mean, if you look at the good games he's had this year, like the really good ones, it was against the Titans and the Ravens. It was 2 terrible teams. So like, because the other ones, when you look at it, against the Rams, they didn't do a whole lot of nothing. They only scored 9 points, but he didn't even throw a touchdown pass in that game.
Sorry.
Against the Bucks, I mean, they lost, but only completed 54% of his passes, only 1 touchdown in that game. And then Jaguars threw 2 picks in that game. Like I think the numbers are a little skewed just because the last 2 weeks have been really, really good, but that's also because they've played 2 crappy teams. So
yeah,
like-
sorry, that's also fair.
Yeah.
I also think that Nick Chubb, I think that people, myself very much included, had a lot bigger hopes and expectations for him.
He's in
Houston,
a timeshare with Woody Marks right now.
Oh,
So
Who?
I mean,
Who's that?
what? He didn't see him go off like 2 weeks ago.
Woody
like-
Marks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually Nick Chubb's literally in a timeshare with Woody Marks right now, the rookie. So
yeah, he had that good game against the Titans.
he was nasty.
Yeah.
Woody Marks. I'm sorry, I don't know what I heard, but
Yeah.
my apologies on that one.
Well,
No, you're fine.
damn sure ain't Woody Johnson back there.
Yeah, my apologies. I don't know what I thought
Okay.
you said.
Okay, so we can go yes with Houston, I would say.
Yeah,
for
I think
defense.
yeah.
Tennessee's a resounding no.
Yeah.
Resounding.
Yeah.
Chargers. I'm
don't-
tempted to
don't-
say no.
I don't think they're as good as people think they are.
They're
That's my
just
point.
they're charging every week, except they're kind of winning by
so it's like-
charging.
But then the thing is, if they're charging every week, then it's a no. So
Yeah, they're charging, but they're
so-
also winning some of the charging games. It's a no.
yeah,
They're
it's-
winning some of the Charger games. I don't know why that was so funny to me.
That's what it is.
I don't know why that was so funny to me, but yeah, it's. Pardon me, sorry. They're another weird one because it's just if you look at, on pure yards per game, they actually have a top 10 defense in the NFL right now. Top
Yeah.
8.
they do.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think what I think it is with the Chargers. I think it's just a lot of like second half breakdowns. They play a good first half of football usually.
Well, but here's what's the weird thing is I feel like we've said that under Harbaugh. I feel like we said that under Brandon Staley. I feel like we said that under Anthony Lynn. Hell, I feel like we even said that going back to Mike McCoy. Like
Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
this has been the case back to when they were in freaking San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also why I think like they were a team that always on defense had talent on paper, and it was always.
I mean, it goes back to when they had Joey Bosa and company.
Like what I will say, I think their front seven when they're healthy is okay.
Yeah.
I just think that the secondary is terrible. I think that's the big problem.
You know what's the number one thing I learned this year in the NFL through 6 weeks? I am tired of excusing defenses for being injured.
Yeah,
I'm so done with it. You're bad. You're bad.
because I mean when we talk about talent on defenses too, it's like there are teams that even with injuries still have very good talent.
Yeah,
and they don't rise to kind of offset
The
the injury.
occasion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they kind of just keep playing the same way. It's like no, you can't. When someone's injured, you have to your game has to raise up.
Yeah.
And
So
none of these
I'm tired of giving it a pass. Is basically my point.
yeah.
If I were to give it a pass, I would say that for half of these teams,
And
it
because
wouldn't even be a
you think
conversation.
about too, but by the end of the year, and how many times do we hear this from players and from coaches at the end of the year when they say, "Yeah, we're going to the playoffs," or "No, we missed the playoffs," but no one's healthy across the league. Nobody is.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
it's especially after that many games, and like, I mean, they just picked up. I'm gonna butcher his name, but Uwe, is that how you say that?
A Menahu? Who the hell did they pick up? I don't even remember. who
I
they
have
picked
to
up.
look.
But anyway, but like the only defender, like you said, the secondary in particular, the only guy that I'm really gonna hang my hat on is obviously Derwin James.
And
Yeah.
even he gets hurt all the time too. So yeah. So for me, it's a no. For me, it's a no.
Yeah, it's a no for
Unfortunately.
me, dog.
Brandon, it's a no.
Yeah, it's a no.
Denver, I think, is it a yes?
It's
Yeah.
a yes, but they're kind of stuck in
But
that
we
same
talked
thing.
about it, or we talked about what's our issues with Denver, and it's
They're
still
stuck.
a yes.
They're stuck in that same problem where their offense just cannot get out of first gear. So
Right.
like their defense has to do too much. So I think their defense is fine.
I like their front seven a decent amount. I think they could do well to add a CB2 because I don't love Moss in that position, but I like their front seven a lot. Benito has been solid. Cooper
Oh,
lined up.
Benito deserves Defensive Player of the Year
Benito, sorry, I
consideration.
mispronounced that.
It's fine.
Cooper lined up on the other side, and then I mean even the three in between them. Allen, Allen's not had a great year, but Jones, Franklin Myers. I think that linebacker might want to see them upgrade from Singleton. But not to hate on the guy that had a decent time in the 215, but I mean even if you go all the way to their safeties, I mean Hufanga, Jones,
Yeah.
there are a lot of pieces to like on that Denver defense. That's why when when they won that game last week, I mean I was not surprised at all. I still think that team, defensively and in the trenches, I think that
Yeah.
I still think if we're talking about teams that I think still look to me like I can at least see the skeleton of what could be a team to make a run later
Yeah.
this year, Denver is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with everything we said, I agree.
Yeah.
Kansas City. I'm being 100% truthful here for defense. It's a resounding no.
Yeah, it's no. I don't
Through
think
6
that-
weeks, it's
because it's-
resounding no.
It's just because it's nowhere near what it used to be, and now is nowhere near what it used to be. But it's just like it's more so just that they're so inconsistent, and you can't have inconsistency in this league when you're trying to win a title, especially with the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's a no.
Here's the answer I'll give. Through the lens of expectations of what they've been the last decade, it would be a no. On a standalone, I would say they're a yes. I think there's too many pieces back there, not just Karlaftis, McDuffie and Watson, obviously in the corner positions. They got 2 linebackers in Tranquil and Shaw. They got Cook there in the safeties. If you're asking me, this game is what? It's yes versus no, right? So that means roughly you're going to have about 16 yeses, 16 nos. So if I have to pick,
that's what we're trying to debate right now. That's what we're trying to figure out.
So if you're asking me, do I think they have one of the 16 better defenses in the NFL? I'm going to say yes.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think it's
That's
fine.
fair.
It's fine. Let's see. Where are we? Vegas. Pause for a moment. Hold on.
I'm holding.
Here's Geno Smith after the game.
Oh boy.
In one moment. Hang on, I'm trying to get it. This was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life when it comes to football. Here was Geno after the game talking about the interceptions. Okay, hang on. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as clean as I would like. Obviously, can't throw an interception in that situation. I was trying to dirt the ball. I told coach I need to go jump in the lake or ocean or something. I mean, it's just a lot of bad luck stuff happening to me, but I'm in control of that.
What the?
I mean, I say it watching Eagles games every week on my TV. Like I say that often, but for an NFL player to actually say that after another bad performance,
that might be one of I say
that's amazing.
I say a lot of bizarre stuff on this show that is easily tops anything that I've said on this show, except for maybe my butchering of Scadabo's name.
Oh Jesus. I want to get that. I want to get your pronunciation of Scadabo printed on a shirt. Honestly,
I don't even know how I would spell that out.
We'll have to figure it out.
SKATUTTUBEO or something.
Yeah, the way you pronounced it, yeah.
Yeah, and then
you phonetically gave us that with way more letters and just vowels and consonants than what's in that name.
The photo is just you, and next to you is Cam Scadabo with the shirt off. And that's t-shirt.
I want to gift Coop a custom Cam Scadabo jersey with just his pronunciation of Scadabo on the back on the nameplate with his number.
I want to just make it.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, Vegas is a no. We'll move on. Jesus Christ, Vegas. Philly, you guys have fun with this.
Go ahead, Brandon.
It has to be a no. It has to be a no.
It's as much as I want to believe that they can fix it, and but when I look at this team as a whole through 6 weeks, it's a no. It's just the talent is nowhere near what it was last year, and it's not even the fault of the guys that are still there, like Carter, like Davis, like Q, like Coop. Those guys are still doing their jobs. It's really the parts that Howie Roseman that he didn't address that's why that defense is failing. It's it's really when you don't have a second corner, it just makes it when you employ a Dory Jackson who you basically signed off the street, and then his backup is Keely Ringo, who hasn't been able to find playing time outside of special teams because he just downright sucks. that's a recipe for disaster. So it's like even Jackson Dart figured that out, last week, because before Keaton Mitchell went down, they were not even looking his direction to throw against him. It was all just, where's Keely Ringo, where's Dory Jackson? All right, we're just going to throw it that way every single time. And that's exactly what they did. And then when he came out, I was like, yeah, the game's definitely over once Quinion Mitchell's out, because now no one's going to cover anything. So, I mean, honestly, at that point, what I would have rather seen them do is push Coop outside just to save at least one side of the field. But they didn't do it.
And as you said before, Reed Blankenship has not had a good year
And
either.
Reed Blankenship's been terrible this year. I don't know what happened between the last really 2-3 years and this year, but this year he's playing like a rookie all over again. It's blown assignment after blown assignment after blown assignment. I'm like, bro, you know what you're doing in this defense. You were good in this defense last year. Like, he's nowhere near the ball half the time when the ball's going downfield. He's never in the picture. Like, who the hell are you covering? Like, it's like, I mean, and that also doesn't help when I guess he feels he has to overcorrect because Makuba's just been downright bad except for one game. I mean, that's a rookie thing, but still, like, there's just too.
Well, it's his coverage in particular. His other aspects of his game have been fine.
Yeah, Makuba's still always around the ball, but my God, his coverage skills are terrible. At least for a rookie. Like, even for a rookie right now, it's not good. Especially on a defense that has and a team that has higher expectations. So I think I'll say it's bad just because it's a far cry from what, I mean, listen, they can't even last year they were generating pressure at like an insane clip. And back in 22, it was at an insane clip. Early 2023, it was at a decent clip. It fell off at the end, but it was a decent clip. This year, this is another year of Vic Fangio defense, but there's not a single guy on that defense that's getting anywhere near the quarterback every game. So Darius Smith, who we signed off the street, is the team leader in sacks. Does anybody know how many sacks he actually has this year?
What, like 3?
Nope.
2?
1?
1.5.
Jesus Christ.
He has 1.5. Everybody
All
else.
right, you've said it. It's a no.
It's a no. It's a no.
It's an absolute no. Scoop, I assume you agree.
No, I don't. But I also was looking at this question from a different perspective. Excuse me, because here's the thing. I think we have, like, if you're asking, like, the way I perceived this question was like the defense, like, as like the 11-on-11 perspective. I think the main issue with our defense is that the 2 to 3 gaping holes that we have are just so gaping that they're just getting targeted over and over and over again.
But that's football.
Yeah.
I'm not disputing that, but it's just so the way that I was answering the question is just the vantage point of, do I think that, the defense is, I guess the way I can't think of the word now.
Apply it, kind of.
Yeah. Apply the what you asked to, the way I was thinking about it was just, is this one of the top six? Again, I come back to, with a bilateral question like that, is this one of the top 16 defenses in the NFL? And I'm sorry, you've still got, pardon me.
I will say the point of this exercise to say there's more than 16 trash defenses, which I am kind of making the argument that it is.
I think there is.
Okay.
And that's kind of the general point here. But you can also say that you can also go with the top 16 thing. I think that's fair.
Yeah, because I'm looking around. I'm looking at the guys that we've had in coverage. To me, I think for the times that he's been put into coverage, Jihad Campbell's done well. For the most part, I would say DeJean's done well. Zach Bourne, for the most part, has done well. You put on and then you go to the run defense, area of things. I'll mention Bourne again. That is an area where Makuba's done well. Davis, before he was hurt, I mean, we saw what happened with, one of the big things that you can tell about how good of a guy is when you're, what happens when you don't have him. Jordan Davis, we clearly missed in the run defense game. So again, I think I was just probably approaching this a little bit differently. I would have said yes based on the way that I interpreted the question, because again, I think if you look at, half the teams in this league, would they switch their defense in terms of what they've done so far in the first 6 games? Would they switch their defense with the Eagles? I think they would.
Yeah, that's fair. Washington is kind of tough because I haven't really been. Here's the thing with Washington. Washington, to me, I haven't been able to really watch them closely because they don't have their starting quarterback. So what am I supposed to do?
Well, they do now, don't they?
They do
Yeah.
now, but it's only been what, 1 or 2 games.
I think I'm still gonna say no because as far as from what I remember seeing so far this season and just historically the last couple of years, it's the same thing. Their run defense is good. Their pass defense sucks. But the problem is when their pass defense sucks, they get burnt a lot. So I'm still gonna say no because I just think that I need to go back and look closer. Like it's a soft no because I just haven't watched them enough. But just from what I remember, I look at them and I'm like, I just don't think that defense is really any good. I mean, that pass defense is still the same as it always was. I mean, listen, they had a good game against the Chargers, but that's not saying much. They gave up 34 to the Falcons. They gave up 24 to the Raiders, who aren't good. They gave up 27 to the Packers, who've been up and down. 6 to the Giants, but that was pre, Jackson Dart. And then, so it's like I'm looking at all those games and I'm like, you're not facing the greatest of talent, but when you have 3 games where you give up 24 or more, and 2 of those games are against bad football teams, that's why I'm leaning no. That pass defense is not good. It never was, and it still isn't this year. Like
it's still too handsy. I hate it.
And that's what I'm saying. We said in the offseason, Washington did not address their defense at all. Washington was just content to run it back, and that's where they're struggling. It's not so much the offense really isn't that poor, because they're still scoring, roughly around 20, 7 a game around there. But but when your defense is giving up pretty much 30 or close to 30 or more against some kind of rough teams, that just leaves you to believe, hey, you can't. It's the same thing last year. You couldn't run against them, even though some teams did do it, including Philly. But their pass defense is just not good. I mean, it has names, but once again, it's almost like the Ravens defense. Ravens defense has a lot of names in that secondary, but they all can't cover, tackle, or just sound technique. They don't have any of that to save their life. It's just like Washington. Washington's got got good pieces here and there, but being content with running it back when you got gashed last year in the passing game and you didn't fix it, that's why it's a no. It's a no.
Scoop, go ahead on Washington.
Okay. I'll say it's a no only because, and I still think this is a very talented defense that is with a lot of individuals that have had, solid seasons, obviously led by guys like Wagner, Armstrong, even Payne. But I don't like their corners and I don't like their safeties. And at linebacker, when Wagner is having such a good year, but Louvo is not, then, all defenses have to do is basically just say, okay, just hammer Louvo instead of, Wagner. And then all of a sudden, then things open up for them. So I think that they're kind of almost where Philly is for me. We're kind of like that right in the middle of that, like, do you mind? Kind of right in that middle of everything where it's like they have enough pieces where I like the cohesive, I like the collective 11, but there's just enough deficiency in the wrong places where it's going to be easier to take advantage of. So I would probably, if I were ranking these 1 through 32, I would probably have Washington and Philly very close to each other in that sort of middle.
I also didn't realize that that Scoop believes that Bobby Wagner is German.
What?
Did you realize how you pronounce Bobby Wagner's last name?
I heard Washington. I always hear you say Washington.
Yeah, but Scoop, when Scoop said Bobby Wagner, when we said Wagner, like I heard it as like like the what was it, the Magic player, was it Franz Wagner?
Franz Wagner, yeah.
Like so
Franz
it's like
Wagner.
So it's like Bobby Wagner's not German. Wait a minute. If there's
wait. It's not said like a V sound.
no, not
No.
always. No,
Oh.
like like if they're from Germany, yes. But if you're an American, no, it's Wagner.
Wagner.
I'm used to pronouncing things like that way when I see it that way, like because I know
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
pronounced
yeah.
that way. So it's like
Bobby
Yeah, but I-
Wagner's been in this league a long time. Have you
When I-
always
when I heard-
pronounced it that way? Oh my! Oh no! Oh my God! It's been like 13 years.
Oh
Jesus
my
Christ.
God! You know what? Wait. Starting from last week, we have to actually. I want to go back through the show. But starting from last week, I'm going to make a tally of how many names Scoop mispronounced.
technically I did mispronounce that one.
Well, yeah, but Bobby Wagner's not German.
But and then every time he says Washington, I'm gonna count it because I think
That's that accent I told Scoop about. It's that half Canadian, half upstate New York Buffalo accent that comes out. Because I've heard that. Because I there's a YouTube video that says that shows how they pronounce things with that A sound, and it sounds just like how Scoop says it. So
Jesus. Dallas?
No. Next question.
No.
yeah, no.
And you said no for Washington, right, Scoop?
I don't even remember if I actually gave an answer. Because
Yeah.
I think I said it. I think I said they're kind of right in that middle.
So
Well,
yeah.
you say you. I think you said you leaned no, right?
Yeah.
lean no.
I'll put them as a soft no. Like if I were ranking them, I'd probably put them somewhere between like 17 to 20.
Yeah.
Yep. Giants.
Hell no.
No. Okay.
We
Green
made
Bay-
them look better than what they are, but they're not a good defense.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I said about the Toronto Blue Jays. Also,
Yeah.
Mariners with a nice win. Love it.
Thank God.
congrats.
But really quickly on the Blue Jays. Can we please stop having managers mismanage their starters and bullpens in postseason games?
What happened? Because I'll be honest, I didn't watch 1 minute of that game.
Gosman got pulled early after Cal hit a homer, and I was like, and one guy got on second. I'm like, what? Why are you pulling him? It's so stupid. I don't understand.
He was cruising, and then it was a 1-0 game. Cal Raleigh tied it up with a solo homer. Like the wheels weren't necessarily falling off, and they just gave him a quick hook in was the 5th or 6th inning, and I'm like, ooh, that's early.
It was so stupid. Okay. Green Bay. You know what? I'm going to be controversial here, maybe a little bit. It's a no, and it's a hard no. This defense looks bad. I get that they looked good the first couple of weeks, but it looks lost to me. It really does.
I mean, watching what they did against Dallas scared me a lot.
Yeah.
So because here's why I'm gonna agree with you why I say no. Because to me, the centerpiece of that defense is Micah Parsons. But do you know what Dallas did to avoid him and why they scored a lot of points? They just avoided his side of the field. They didn't go anywhere near his side of the field for most of that game.
You know what I'm also noticing?
What?
He's leaving the field in a lot of crucial moments still.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah, I
not on
noticed
the
that
field.
too.
And it's
Like-
really weird.
I watching the Packers really does worry me because of what they did against Dallas. But even so, you made Joe Flacco, who came off the street for the Bengals this week. You made him for the second half where you shut them out in the first half. In the second half, you made him look somewhat competent. That's not good. He hasn't been good this year, and he's 40,000 years old. So
47,000 years old.
that's my thing at this point. But so it's really hard when I mean, they played well against the Lions, but that was basically a glorified preseason game, and the Lions have been up and down in terms of their offense. Like they can score super high or super low. It's a little inconsistent. And then Commanders, you kind of struggled a little bit in that game, but at the end of the day, Jaden Daniels was playing that game injured for most of that, pretty much that fourth quarter and whatnot when they were trying to kind of make a run there. And so I was like, okay, I don't know what to make of that. Browns game, you lost to the Browns. Your defense did a good job, but
They basically made Flacco look competent twice this season. Which is amazing.
that's probably my biggest problem is they've made Flacco look somewhat competent twice, and then they got killed by the Cowboys. Even though there was a tie, they got killed by the Cowboys. So it's a soft no. I'm not gonna say hell no yet, but it's a soft no for me.
Scoop.
I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna say a soft yes, because I think that when you sort of juxtapose their run defense versus their pass defense, I think you kind of start to see. I think you kind of start to see that they definitely have some more issues. I would say they have definitely more issues in the pass game. I'd like to see guys like Brooks and Gary get a little bit more off with the pass rush. Certain guys in coverage. McKinney, has not had a great season. Walker, Bullard have not had great seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say a soft yes, only because I think they got a really good rush defense game, but they've got combined issues between coverage and tackling that I think are really at risk of giving them being their downfall.
Well, that's why I look at it. That's why I kind of placed them in like the same group with the Rams and the Commanders, like where it's like it's a good front seven, but it's not a good secondary, and like it's like, or at least not as good as it, or at least for some of the guys, not as good as what they used to be. So
and that's a tough thing for me with these things, because they're two different questions to ask me. Are these good right now, or are these bad right now, versus are they good compared to what they used to be? Because so that's two different questions to me. So that's why I don't think I'm answering the same question at times, because
that's fine. It's fine to have a different thought process for this.
Yeah, well, that's what I just wanted to make that clear, that like I don't think I'm answering the same question, because I'm not taking into account anything that happened before week 1 of this year.
Yeah, that's like, I only do that with teams where it's like historically their defense is really good compared to like Chiefs historically good, Philly historically
right, which is fair, but it just that to me, what a team's historically done has nothing to do with the other 31 teams in the NFL. So that's
yeah.
I'm just like, but to me, like, I'm not saying it's like the end all be all, but it's like one piece of it. Like how I look at it, I look at it from that angle, then I look at it from what they're doing this year with what's either some of the same guys that they have, or if it's a completely different. Like, I give grace to the defenses that are completely different from what they were like a year before. Then that's like, okay, I give them a little bit of grace. But like with the teams that have like established like good defensive players, for them to struggle, that's where I separate between the yes and the no. Because then I'm like, okay, if they're struggling this year so far, then it's a no. If they're as good as they were last year for a lot of these guys, then I would lean towards yes. So that's how I'm kind of like splitting it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then
Detroit. Soft no?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they can get after a quarterback, like their D-line can, but their corners are that like once again their secondary, like their front seven.
I'll be right back. 1 second. Just keep going. I'm right back.
Yeah, with Detroit, because even tonight, you made the Chiefs like look good again after kind of not doing, after the Chiefs had kind of been up and down. But my problem is like, every time the Lions have a big game, so like Chiefs, Pack, like bigger opponents, that defense does not show up, and that's a big problem. So they can look good against the bad teams, and every time they play a really good team, they don't show up, and that's why I lean towards no, because a lot of those same guys on that defense last year that got killed by Washington, then this year. They've gotten killed by the Packers. They've gotten killed by the Chiefs. They technically, up until Derrick Henry's fumble, they were getting killed by the Ravens. And that was a Ravens team that's not quite the same. So I don't trust the Lions defense in big games. I don't, because it's just like time and time again, I like their pieces, but time and time again, they can't get the job done. And even this year, they haven't gotten the job done in big games. They're 4-2. That's why I said before, if their defense would just show up in these games, they'd be 6-0. So they're tough, because it's like some weeks they just look like they're unbeatable. But like when you talk about the Lions, like I'm gonna pull this up. Like everybody talks about like what the Lions have done this, so far this year. Everybody's talking about how great they were through 4 weeks or whatnot. After losing to the Packers, they kind of went on like a winning streak a little bit. But you get towards the Lions, and it's like when I look at the games overall, you didn't look good against the Packers. You beat the Bears, but the Bears, I mean, that's a division game, but the Bears also aren't any good. You get up 30 to the Ravens, who you should have lost to if Derrick Henry didn't fumble. You look good against the Browns, but that's not saying much. You give up 24 to the Bengals and Jake Browning. That's not good.
That's ugly. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good.
And then you just give up 30 to the Chiefs, who've been inconsistent all year, inconsistent at best all year. So I think when it comes to just bigger games, I just think are just the downfall of the Lions. They can't get it done when it matters, and it's like that's what I was telling Scooby when you were away. Look what happened against Washington. Now, a lot of that was the offense, Jared Goff throwing interceptions, but Washington had their number in that game. So like, I like Detroit because Detroit is like it's the same thing I said last year. They can score 40, but they can give up 40, and so it's like. I just not. It's just a trust factor. I don't trust them, even though they have good pieces. I don't trust them. They don't win big games, and they just don't.
When you made me change my opinion. This is a no. This is a no. Yeah.
This is well.
This is a no.
Didn't you start off saying no?
I think I started off saying soft yes. This is a no. Like you totally changed my thought on it. Yeah.
Like I just can't take the Lions seriously because it's like, everybody gets like caught up in how many yards, offensively that they put up and how many points they score and all these different position players, all these players that are really good, these weapons they have. But, like you're scoring, you're winning games by 13, whatever it is, like Detroit does, they win by 2 scores. But then, like you gotta realize you're giving up 24.
But it's like 50 to 37.
Yeah, like exactly.
Like you're giving up 24 to the Bengals. You gave up 27 to the Packers, who kind of haven't found their way really between what they want to be. Like you gave up 30 to the Ravens, who, like I said before, if Derrick Henry didn't fumble, you would have probably lost that game. Like, and then today, the Chiefs, like I said, have been inconsistent at best all year. You give up 30 to them, and you made them look like kind of like the Chiefs of old today. So. Detroit, I can't. I want to believe in them. I want to see them do well just for Detroit's sake, for all those years of losing. But big games matter, and they just don't get it done. And so far, even in games that are not big games, they haven't really gotten it done despite winning. So I don't trust them.
Scoop, are you also saying no here?
Yeah, but for what I think are maybe somewhat similar, but also somewhat different reasons. Looking at coverage, there's 6 main guys they've had in coverage this year. Anzalone has been fine, but above him, sorry?
I like him.
Yeah, but Branch, passers are getting 130 passer rating off of him in 17 targets.
Jesus. He's supposed to be their best coverage.
Amik Robertson, 113 passer rating off of him, have off of 22 targets, guys have completed 15 times. Jack Campbell, 3 touchdowns have been off of him, 130 passer rating. Out of 25 targets, he's only prevented 3 completions. And then the guy who's been targeted the most, one of my favorite players as a Bama fan, anybody who followed Bama in 2023 knows, Jalen Milroe, Terrion Arnold, let all naysayers know, 29 targets, 18 receptions, passer rating of 106, 6 penalties.
Yeah. He has not been good this year.
No. So, I'm going to need him to get back to letting all naysayers know, because so far, these main 6 in coverage, with the exception of Anzalone, that just is nothing to feel comfortable in there, or comfortable with there, excuse me. And then, and you get down to pass rushing, I can see a little bit more to like from guys like Hutchinson and Muhammad, but then you get to some of their other main guys like Reeder, Lopez, Williams, Barnes, and it just one's been uglier than the next. So, and again, Barnes has kind of been one of those guys that's been asked to do a lot of both pass rush and coverage. Unfortunately, he's done neither particularly well. So, but it's tough because there's so many guys that it's just there should be you should be. This is probably the main defense we talked about so far, where it's you feel like that you should be getting more than you have from the specific players on that defense.
Yeah, you guys proved exactly why this is a no. Yikes. Minnesota is a fun one.
Yes, just because their defense keeps them in games, because their offense is just horrific. Carson Wentz is throwing like 2 picks a week. Like he's not doing that any favors.
I'll actually go soft yes here. Scoop on Minnesota.
Well, let me see. So I would just see it's so tough because holistically on the season, I don't think there's been as much to love about them, but I keep having that one freaking game. I think it was week 3, and I know it was Cincinnati, but that one freaking game from week 3 where it felt like we were getting back the purple people eaters of the freaking Alan Page era.
Our former cornerback too. Did our cornerback really?
Yeah, Isaiah Rodgers.
Had a monster game.
Yeah. So that keeps them in the running there.
Yeah, but definitely around that, I haven't liked it as much. And this, not this week, but like this most recent game is what I mean. Against Cleveland, I would say helped them because otherwise that game really was a standalone. But again, they're playing against a guy who had never thrown an NFL pass before. So I'm sorry, and I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to call this one a wash. I have to call this one a wash because that one game there was just too much for me to like. But the only other game that I saw anything really to like that much was against a guy who had no NFL experience at all. So I'm going to have to call this one a wash.
That's fair. Let's go through teams that are probably solid no's here. Chicago's a solid no.
Yeah.
Carolina is definitely a no, especially after what we saw. Atlanta's probably a no.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Orleans is a no.
Yep.
49ers, even with 4-2, is a no because
and the thing is they've lost so many guys for even we say that we don't excuse injuries. These guys are not gone for like 2 or 3 weeks. These guys are done for the season.
Yeah.
These guys are out the entire year.
And it's crazy because if you ask this for the 49ers, if you ask this after week 4, even after that loss to the Jags, I probably would have said yes, but just so much that's just a classic example of life coming at you fast in the NFL because after these last 2 weeks, I just don't see any way that we can say yes on this one. Especially, you lost Greenlaw, now you lost Varner. It's one thing after another.
Did you say Warner wrong? Did I just hear that wrong?
You pronounced it like a V. I heard that too.
Yeah, Warner. Oh Jesus! Another one for the tally.
So how do you pronounce former St. Louis Rams / Arizona Cardinal quarterback Kurt
Warner?
There you go. I like it.
Thank God.
I don't say Fred Warner as whatever. I probably just misspoke, honestly, because I know
I'm counting the misspeak.
Adding it to the list. We got 3.
The misgivings of Scoop's language.
Yeah.
Scoop, do you even speak English, buddy?
This is Scoopisms.
English is technically my second language.
What is your first language?
ASL.
Oh, okay. Yes. We love that. Okay. Arizona's a no.
Yeah.
That's what. And as since we're talking about a Jonathan Gannon defense, someone superimposed the Jerry Seinfeld face on here where he's eating popcorn. That's a shame.
Jesus. Let's see. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No. I want to like.
No, I want to like it, but no.
It's.
I'm staying with you.
I'm gonna say. I'll say a very soft yes, only because there's more that I liked from their good games than there is that I didn't like from their bad ones. But it's I would be saying 51-49 yes at this point.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. All All right, Seattle.
Are you keeping tallies on like who like if it's
No,
two out
I'm
of
not.
three saying yeah?
I'm,
Okay, I was gonna say, like, two out of
I'm
three, yes.
not. I'm not, but I'm fairly confident we're getting to the point I'm trying to make here anyway.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of no's or soft yeses,
Okay.
yeah.
and there's probably way too many.
We-
Seattle.
Seattle. Seattle. I'm a yes.
Yeah, I think Seattle. I'm
I'll
a yeah
say
too.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking it enough. Rams.
No, hate their secondary. Their secondary is garbage. It's
Uh,
complete.
That
Ram-
secondary is awful.
Okay, I think this is probably going to be my biggest disagreement then, because Rams, I'm a yes.
Is it front seven?
Well, first and foremost, I will say, up until last week, I liked what I saw from their I'll say pass defense. They had one bad game against the run. I think that was week 4. I want to say. They had one game that was just ugly tackling wise. Like here's the problem that I have with them is that I think I've seen what I like from each element of their game on the defensive side. It just hasn't all hit at the same time. So
Yeah, that's 100. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's completely fair.
yeah, so I'll say yes in the sense that I think that they have that top end, that higher end defense. I would cushion it by saying I don't think that they've all shown up on the same cylinders yet.
Yeah, and I think Brandon, you would agree to the sense that there are games where the secondary does look pretty solid, but it's just so inconsistent.
It's just
It's
not
probably
enough.
like 1 week
Yeah,
or 2 weeks of the year.
their coverage definitely needs to show up more consistently. But like they had 2 wicked pass rush games, including one against the Colts that I think now we need to take more seriously than maybe we did at the time.
I think that's what hides a lot of their weaknesses in the secondary, though, is that their front seven is good. Like,
and then their rushing defense. You know, the one thing I'll say is that they had 2 really solid rushing defense games. Shut up. Really solid rushing defense games against 2 of the top rushing teams in the NFL. Now, granted, those teams have become banged up and those rushing games have stalled, but at the time they hadn't. So I'm still willing to give them the credit for those games. So that's where I would say I am going to still say yes for the Rams.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I guess we've kind of said our piece with this, where it's like, this makes football a tough watch when a lot of these defenses are just not
like,
that
even-
fun.
even the ones that are soft yeses or soft noses, like, it's still not enough for me to like to love it. So it's like, that's why.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It just makes football a tough watch.
Yeah.
Watch. Jesus. I'm scoopisming
like-
myself.
Like if you ask me right now, how many bad defenses, like just offhand, how many bad defenses are there in the NFL? Like not just like, you know, not good defense, but actually bad defenses. I'd probably say somewhere around 10. But if you ask me offense wise, how many bad there are, I'd say maybe 4. So like
that's a disparity that's not very fun.
Well, that's my point. Is, you know, I think that in terms of the general point, and you can nitpick obviously over, you know, the exact number of each, but I think the general consensus being that, you know, there's about 3 times more bad defenses than bad offenses. You know, I think we all kind of arrive at that point, just maybe on a different route.
It's
Yeah,
weird. It's just weird.
Yeah,
Like-
and Brandon, I'll lead you into this. A lot of it is the penalties, and a lot of it is these D coordinators kind of suck. across
Yeah,
the board.
I mean, just like, I'm watching games where it's like, even with a bad offense, not games just with Philly, but just games as a whole across this league, where I've had this same complaint for weeks now. On 2nd and 2, or whatever it is, 3rd and 4, why are your cornerbacks 10 yards off the line of scrimmage? Why? That doesn't make any sense. You're giving up a free first down every time. I don't think I've ever seen, not one, or maybe very little. I don't think I've ever seen a corner that far line of scrimmage in short yardage, and these teams have actually gotten stops. I don't think I've ever seen it. And I'm like, and it's funny because the guy that's furthest off the wide receiver, I'm like, guess what? I know where the ball's going before the ball's even snapped. It's going to this guy. Sure as shit, that guy's wide open. Like, I'm like, wow, guess who could have called that? I'm sitting on my couch watching football, and the defense can't see it. So, like, that's what makes me angry. Is like, it's like these coordinators are so scared to give up the big play, but but the problem is they're losing the time of possession battle because they're giving up the small play for easy first downs, and the clock keeps moving and the possession gets extended, and then by extension, you're not giving up the big play. But here's the problem: you're tiring out your defense. If your defense is on the field for 15 plays a drive, and then you're wondering why, there's your answer. So, like, it's too much of that. Like there's a lot of teams that have a lot of time possession, but they also won't have that many points. Or on the flip side, they'll have a it's like it's weird. Like NFL in general is just weird this year because there's just so many defenses that like I want to like what they do. I want to like their pieces. But when you have critical, like it's almost like critical situations, both like certain offenses and certain defenses in this league just don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's not that hard. Like if you get to or 3rd and 2, or if you get to 2nd and 1, I don't care about 2nd and inch or 2nd and 1 being like a quote unquote shot play. No, take the first down and extend the drive. I don't care about the shot play.
And stop. And Brandon's favorite thing: stop using screens.
Oh my
on
god!
offense.
Like screens have their place. I'm not saying that they don't, but like as much as Shane hates ties, I hate bad offensive play calling, especially screens, because like when we were younger, and I told you this, Rob. When I remember, like screens were used sparingly, and they were used in certain situations to catch the defense off bounds.
Yeah.
But half your offensive playbook is a fucking screen. It's not gonna work.
Are you listening, Coach Petullo?
Not just him.
But it's not Patullo. It's a lot of
just him.
offenses in this league.
Like
No, I know. I am willing to bet that was one of the first guys Brandon thought of.
yeah.
No, that's the first guy that brought up the conversation.
But it's like
It's the reason we're doing this game, actually.
He does it. He does it. And then even like this year, if you've been watching Packers football closely, they run it a lot. They run screens a lot. And I'm like I must have saw today from the Packers. I must have saw about 5-6 screens when I'm like, at least in situations where I'm like, that makes no sense to call a screen there. It is like there was one that was 2nd and 7. They lost like 4 yards on the play. It made it a 3rd and long. 2nd and 7 is not a screen pass scenario. That should never be an option on 2nd and 7. If you have a good running back, 2nd and 7 either allows you to run the ball, or 2nd and 7 should be a quick pass. It should not be anything that goes more than 15 yards down the field, and it should be nothing that goes behind the line of scrimmage on a stupid screen or a delayed handoff or something stupid. It should never be that. Like I don't understand the philosophy of these coordinators wanting to catch defenses off guard, but like screens to me offensively, catching a defense off guard is like you saying on defense, we're gonna play prevent defense. And
I knew what you were gonna say before you even said it, and I don't know how.
It's like that's what I equate it to, because I'm like, prevent defense prevents you from winning, but it's like oh, you want to use kind of
prevents you from winning. That's a great line,
because it does.
Bro, that should be on a t-shirt.
Well, I mean, I've heard that saying a bunch in the last at least 5 years, but
I haven't.
Like but it's the same thing with screens. When you run it so much, the defense is going to stop it. Like, it's just a waste of a down. You're wasting a down offensively, and then the problem is you're getting behind the sticks, which means then on 2nd and long, 3rd and long, of course you're going to punt the ball because we're talking
like 2nd and 15, 3rd and 15, sometimes worse.
Like, I get running a screen, like if you're backed up, whatever it is, like, but if it's like 2nd and 12, but it's like creatively disguised where there's some motion in it, then I might understand. But a lot of these screens are coming at like 2nd and 8, 3rd and 6. I'm like, those are not screen passes. You don't run that there. Like, that's not gonna work in those situations, especially when it's like a lot of these offenses are literally calling 2 and 3 screen passes, not just in a quarter, in a drive. They're calling 2 or 3 screen passes. Like
Brandon clearly feels about screen passing how I feel about bunting in baseball.
like
Wait. What do you feel about bunting in baseball?
Can't stand it.
You just hate it as a whole.
Not that I'll put it this way. I think way too often it does less good for you than, or it does more detriment to you to a rally than or a potential scoring inning. Otherwise, the one area in which I still think it's a good idea and it's something that's worth at least practicing for when you need it is with the stupid ass Manfred man in the extra innings.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. Get your guy from second over to third, and then all it takes is literally
we should remove bunting for Manfred man situations. It actually kind of hurts the rule.
well, that's
more often than not, and it's not just because I'm a Yankees fan and the Yankees don't seem to have a single player who knows how to bunt. But it's like it just in a general sense, like even back when I used to see it when we were playing Little League, I would watch, and I remember asking as like a 11 or 12-year-old, I was like, why are we willingly giving up an out? And now we've got either one out or two outs. The guys, only one runner over, unless and plenty of guys are not fast enough where, plenty of guys are not fast enough. Just because you get a hit, just because you get a single, unless it's a long enough single, there's no guarantee that guy from second's getting home. And it's just I see plenty of guys, especially when again, I know the Yankees don't have a lot of speed, so that's part of it. But that's just a microcosm of an example. Where I see guys, you'll have a bunt situation, and then guys running around third. The third base coach is giving him one of these, and I don't know. I don't think that I've seen a lot of things both from what I've watched and from what I've found out over the course of time. To me, just the things that you're giving up by bunting and willingly giving yourself up and out, to me, I just don't see it as worthwhile. Because I don't know. I would rather you use you only get 27 outs or in some cases 24, and I would just rather you use each one of those effectively and to just if it's a sac fly, it's one thing because then you're actively in most cases actually scoring a run, but just to get a guy from first to second, I'm like, the fuck's the point? Sorry, I'm like, what's the point of that?
That's where, because for me, it's like being a situational baseball guy. I like old school baseball, so it's like for me, I know what you're saying, but it's like I'm not gonna have like a power hitter bunt because they can't do it and it'd just be a waste of an out. But it's like if there's a guy up there, and this is why I say situational hitting, because it's not just a situation of like the game, like a guy on second, whatever it is. It's a situation for the kind of hitter you have at the plate. So if I have a guy up there that can't hit the baseball, is not gonna make.
If you have a guy up there who can't hit the baseball, he shouldn't be in your freaking lineup.
But the thing is, there's always going to be guys like that just because it's always going to be poor roster construction, and the Yankees even have guys that they don't trust to hit, that are not going to hit the baseball, like an Anthony Volpe or whatever. But but those are the guys that's like, if I know they're struggling even throughout a game, if this guy's like 0 for 4 coming up to the plate and hasn't gotten a hit hasn't made solid contact all day, hasn't gotten a hit all day, and even if it's like the 8th inning or whatever it is, and there's a guy on second, like I don't like the contact play, but like I want to force that defense to also, because this is another thing too. We always say put the ball in play, make the defense have to field it, make a tough play.
Yeah,
I want the speed guys and or slash the guys that can't hit to be the guys bunting, because they're going to put the pressure on the defense to either make a play, and if they make a play, okay, you give up an out, but the guy gets to third, and then your better bats will drive that guy in to win a game or to tie it or what have you. Or I want them to do it because it also can just help get that hitter that can't hit in rhythm. If they can lay it, if they're a speed guy, if they can get to, because a lot of that time Ichiro did it well. There were guys that did do it well. So
I mean, to be fair, Ichiro's one of the greatest pure hitters to ever play the game. But
I'm saying I'm saying the speed helps. I
agree with that. But the problem that I come with there is let's say let's say you have one of those guys that you're going up and you're having them drop down. You're basically saying, excuse me, I am having one of 9 guys in my lineup. I literally would rather give him an automatic out. There's absolutely if there's a guy on first, right, and this guy goes and lays down a bunt. If excuse me, you're actively putting up a position depending on who you have at first. Unless you have a guy who's already fast on first, then you're setting up a potential double play situation, which completely kills any rally to begin with. And then because I've seen that happen plenty of times, guys bunt and it ends up into a double play. Or you've got somebody on second who, if he's not fast enough, if he's not fast enough, or if the bunt's not placed perfectly, then you got the outs made at first, but the guy can't get to third in time. Or because of however many outs are on, they might not have him go to third because you don't want to make the third out at first or at third base. So again, it just the amount of scenarios I can come up with that just don't seem to lend credence to there being again. I as a business guy, I think a lot of things in life. I think of risk reward ratio, opportunity cost benefit type thing, and I see way too many areas where the risk or the cost of bunting has just outweighs the opposite. Just my opinion.
It is too. But we know. I will say too, in defense of the bunt too. It's there's also times where it's a lot of your speed guys, Ichiro's the one exception where he did everything well, but a lot of your speed guys are not going to be really good hitters. So it's at that point, I would just rather have those guys practice bunting more probably than the others, and just have them situationally know and also not really, but if they do lay the bunt down, and especially because they always tell you with the bunt, and this is what a lot of players still do wrong at the MLB level. They try to they try to push the bat, catch the ball. It's no, you have to let the ball catch the bat.
Right.
You can't sit there and actually stick the bat. I don't know why guys keep doing it. This is
it's you gotta. I can't do this because my arms are too long, but it's this type of thing.
I got you.
Wait, I got a bat too. Hang on. We're getting bats.
We're Mark DeRose saying this thing.
So and literally they teach you to kind of go like this and put your hand kind of near the label.
Yeah.
So that way the barrel's out. Some guys do it different ways, but you kind of just want your hand there. But it's if you see the ball coming, listen, it's hard in MLB. These guys are throwing 90 something. But you're you don't grab the bat like this. They teach you that you'll break your fingers. And then so you have to kind of keep your kind of your thumb and your index finger behind the label, on the bat, and then literally just wherever that ball is, don't stick it out like this.
You just have to hold it kind of like this, Brandon. Kind of
hold it out and catch the ball wherever.
Yeah, and then move it with the bat
so.
It's wait. So it's kind of like this.
Well, you don't hold. Wait, if you hold the bat like that, you're gonna break your fingers. But
okay, this is why I ask. How do I hold this damn thing?
You don't want your fingers to wrap around the barrel. You want your fingers to kind of be up against the back of the barrel.
You basically you want your thumb and your index finger pretty much to be either behind the bat, kind of somewhat between the label and the start of the barrel. And you want to kind of have your fingers tucked a little bit on the bat, because you don't want to break your fingers if you catch your fingers.
Like at the Mariners game the other day, where he almost fucked his fingers up.
So there's a picture of Mark Teixeira doing it, but it's it's not.
Why would Mark Teixeira ever be bunting in a major league game? He was.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, 20 years ago was a different game, but it's when you
I know, but he was a power hitter. That's what confuses me. Then you have
people who for some reason aren't listening are just seeing us hold baseball bats and probably are getting the wrong impression since it's Halloween in 2 weeks.
I didn't think on our football show I'd be giving baseball lessons, but here we are.
Well, it is postseason time.
Because it's there's also that chance too that when a fielder fields the ball, we always say, how many times do we see guys that do lay down a good bunt either can't get thrown out because they're a fast guy, or that throws sails on the fielder because they got to make a tough play, and then the runner ends up scoring anyway pretty much on a bunt. So, I still think. But
if that throw is gonna sail, it would. that would still be the case. That would be the case if he swung at the pitch or if he bunted it, wouldn't it?
Well, it depends it depends how you swing it. Because what if you strike out, or like what if you foul it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But
you know,
I've seen guys. Excuse me, sorry. Hiccups. I've seen guys foul bunt pitches plenty of times, and
that also does happen.
yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah.
it's like
That to me is one of the funniest things in baseball, when you foul it off the line like that when you're
Well, see,
bunting.
like,
Who,
but that's
show of hands. Who here has foul bunted a strike 3?
I haven't.
I'm still learning baseball, so I've never
Yeah.
Well, because
fully played yet.
I've never had a situation where I've laid down, had to lay down a bunt. I've had a coach give me the bunt sign, and it's like, oh yeah, if the first pitch is if this pitcher cannot, if this pitcher throws soft, and you have a runner on base, lay down the bunt. Like that's kind of what I was taught. It was like, if this isn't a hard throwing pitcher that like this pitcher throws like a can of corn pretty much, then lay down the bunt, because you're gonna make these kids make an error pretty much in the field, because these are young kids that are still kind of learning how to field, or you're gonna have just a tough play at first. Like either way, we're gonna benefit from it. So like to me, when it comes to bunting, like I'm still old school to where bunting has its place in baseball if it's taught correctly,
properly,
and not just taught correctly, but like at the major league level, they don't instill it anymore. It's like, this is also why you see games go 15 innings instead of going like to 11 or 12 in an extra inning game. It's like, there's so many times where I'm like, okay, there's a guy on second, no one out, like, but bunt the guy over, and some teams do that. And the thing is, the Yankees lose a lot of games like that, where I've seen like they'll have a guy coming into extra innings where our pitchers are slow to home plate. They'll throw something pretty much right over the middle. The guy will lay down a perfect bunt, and we'll end up giving up a run because the next guy coming hits a sack. The thing is,
or the opposite. We'll try to have somebody on one of our speeding guys, like a Volpe or a Jazz or a Caballero go out there, and we'll try to have them put down a bunt, and the exactly what I was describing a few minutes ago will happen.
That's why to me it has its place, because if it's taught correctly and if it's the right guys doing it, then I think it has its place. But it's like, if you have a lot, it's all based also on roster construction. Like
that's just it. Like if you're, because like I've talked at times about like, there's guys that like I don't mind having on the roster even if they can't hit it, like because their defense is so good. Like if we're talking like a Kiermaier type, or if we want to go back to like the days of like when he played for Boston and New York, a Darnell McDonald type, like those types of guys.
We're already way off topic as it is, so let's no, it's fine.
I went on a rail about punting and it went all off the rails.
Let's continue to do that. Brandon and I found this is the first time this show is ever going to go political, but trust me, it's going to be worth it, because it's the best political thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So randomly, we were just on Instagram, as we do, watching Sunday Night Football, and we realized that the New York City Mayor, Eric Adams, is traveling to Albania for a visit, for like an official visit. And we were like, why the hell is he going to Albania?
Right.
And it turned into like this whole thing about why he's going to Albania. And here's what we found. Brandon literally searched up, why is Mayor Eric Adams going to Albania? And New York City Mayor Eric Adams recently visited Albania to strengthen economic ties, promote tourism, and engage with the larger Albanian African community in New York. The 4-day trip, which concluded on Thursday, October 9th, was made at the invitation of the Albanian Prime Minister. Here's the controversy. Critics have questioned the necessity of the trip, especially given the minimal economic ties between New York City and Albania. Adams' previous travel, which has included free trips to foreign officials, have led to national scrutiny or federal scrutiny in the past. No wonder he hasn't been reelected. I'm adding the no wonder he hasn't been reelected part. But why are you going to Albania? What's the point?
And they're talking about strengthening, like, ties with the economy and the community. But it's like, do we realize how many people there are in New York City and how big New York City is? There's only about 40, like, this seems like a big number when you think about how big New York City is and how crowded it is. It's not a big number. There's only 40,000 Albanians in New York City.
That's not
Like,
that many.
That's not a lot. For context, my town's a square mile long, and we hold about roughly 18,000 people in it. So 2 times more.
2 of your towns.
Yeah. So like that's not a lot of people at all. So like especially in New York City. So like that part of it doesn't make sense. It's like, me, I get it. I kind of get it, but it doesn't make sense. But it's just like I saw that and I started laughing because it just reminded me. I told Rob about this. It reminded me of that meme. It's like, oh, what that polar bear doing in Texas? Like, it's like that's kind of how I feel.
Wait. When did Pete Alonso sign with Texas?
Oh Jesus. Like, it's so bizarre. Like of all places to hear that like a local official is going to is like Albania. Like,
Why are local officials doing foreign travel as it is?
I don't understand that. Like, there it is. There we go. Here's the meme. Found it. Great meme. Oh, hold on. It's pixelated.
It's pixelated.
These suck. Yeah, like, look.
Man, I can't say this.
What the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
Like, it's like that's like.
Can you hold it still? It just looks like a large tooth.
Yeah.
It looks like a large tooth.
Wait, let me see if I can hold it this way.
Oh, I see
Just
it now.
sit in the chat.
See?
I see it now. Thank you.
It looks like a
Like-
large tooth.
Like,
Well, if you couldn't see the face, can't you see what I'm saying?
No, I can.
Here, I'm
Scoop,
gonna-
do you have any thought processes on the New York City mayor going to Albania?
I don't even know what to say because when you said we were about to get I could have probably named 500,000 different things, and that would not have been what I would have thought.
Exactly.
it
so-
doesn't make a lick of sense.
So I was just like I didn't know we had diplomatic ties with Albania at all.
In New York City.
The last time that I remember talking about Albania was when I was talking to 2 of the women who worked in my high school who were from Albania. They were Albanian immigrants. That was the last time I remember talking about about that country, and that was 8 years ago.
The only time I think about it is like for soccer, football purposes. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Other than that, yeah. So,
Oh my god.
it's one of the dumbest things ever. So yeah, that's pretty that's as political as we can go because Brandon and I saw that and we started dying of laughter because we were just like, what in the world?
So fucking random.
Can we? I mean, like besides football, like well, not besides football. Besides this, I mean, we're gonna talk about the whole Brian Branch thing, but do we like that's so bad what happened in that game tonight at the end?
Oh, with Brian Branch? Yeah, no, he's probably gonna get fined or suspended.
Like, I don't get that. Like, I didn't even see. I saw him hit Juju, but I was like, oh, I thought Juju said something, and probably might have did, but.
I mean, he did, but it's no excuse for you to shove him like that.
No, yeah. Well, like that wasn't even a shove. He basically gave him a slap to the face. So like Mahomes was trying to dap him up, and like Mahomes is not a guy to really talk a ton of shit. So like, I don't know why Brian Branch would be even a sore loser in that instance anyway.
Yeah,
Like-
I have no idea.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it. He's having a bad season. He's getting cooked, but like, but at the same time, it's like that's no excuse for a guy trying to dap you at the end of the game. Like it's like the last.
That's just a nice thing to do. Who cares?
Do you know how counterintuitive that is to find somebody after a game? Like you just played a game for 3 hours, for 4 quarters. You played a physical football game for like. I don't have any energy to even talk to people. Like, I like just give them the handshake and move on and go back to the locker room and just relax. Like try to calm down. Like. Why are you fighting? Like the last thing I want to do is fight somebody after I just got done basically fighting a whole team for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Like-
Scoop, do you have anything on that? I mean, that was just ridiculous.
I mean, again, and I think this is probably one of those unfortunate situations where players' reputations kind of precede them a little bit, but then again, players kind of get that bring that on themselves. Juju Smith-Schuster is not loved by a lot of people in the NFL, but when you
Yeah.
have, but sometimes you have to kind of be able to find the balance between incorporating a guy's past and letting that be relevant, but also taking each situation for what it is in as much of a vacuum as possible. You have to kind of try and find that balance as much as you can.
And that was all Brian Branch being an idiot as it is, and Juju just trying to
that
defend
was the
it.
next thing I was going to say is that Brian Branch up there, from every angle that I saw, and I say that literally and figuratively, from every angle that I saw, that was just him. A guy goes to dap him up or dab him up, whatever the hell the phrase is, and someone doesn't see it, and then just in a pouty, piss poor, however you want to phrase it, guy just goes and sucker punch or sucker slap or whatever you want to call it, and
Branch literally punched him. I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
It was basically an open hand. It wasn't like an open hand slap like this. He literally punched him with an open hand.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was like, because I had to watch it a couple times, and I was like, oh, maybe did he go to do something, and it just it looked more aggressive than it was, but no, it looked as deliberate from as it looked in the first thing, and I'll just say this: if you're out for a game for spitting on somebody, that damn
he
well
should be out. He should be suspended. I 100%.
That damn well better be at least 2 games.
At least one. Okay, and to finish off, I have one thing that Scoop will really love.
Football related. That's good. Is it Sabrina Cole? Sorry.
What? No, it's
Okay.
coming up. And then I have one thing that Brandon will love, which is Tez Johnson in the post-game presser with the best thing I've ever heard. So here's Tez. Let's see if I can.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story. When I score and I hit MVP chant, I'm thinking they talking about me. So I asked Shep. I'm like, Shep, they was chanting MVP. He was like, yeah. I was like, I ain't do nothing this year. And then he was like, they talking about Baker, Tez. I was like, well, that explains it.
Oh my God. And as much as I know the ire of Scoop with the Browns, enjoy this, Scoop.
I'm listening.
No. Look at the chat.
Sorry.
Read through the graphic. It's amazing on our Instagram.
The Browns are paying 8 quarterbacks this season. Shedeur Sanders, $955,000. Joe Flacco, $999,000. That is alarmingly specific. Dylan Gabriel, $1.1 million. Jameis Winston, $2.2 million. Deshaun Watson, $35.9 million. Good job, assholes. Bailey Zappi, $315,000. Dorian Thompson Robertson, $171,000. Kenny Pickett, $8,000.
That's on the Browns payroll.
Kenny Pickett, $8,000. What the hell? Kenny Pickett is easily the 4th or 3rd best quarterback on that list, and he's making $8,000.
Well, he's not actually making $8,000. He's just making $8,000 from the Browns.
Or are the Eagles paying the rest of that?
No, the Raiders are.
I literally can't keep track of how many times this guy's been freaking moved.
I mean, listen, he's been moved he's got to be the only guy that's been moved as much as he has, but still had a snap in the Super Bowl.
He's like the Edwin Jackson or Octavio Dotel of the NFL.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah. But seriously, you're paying at least snippets of all these guys' contracts this season,
and you still can't. Like, it'd be one thing if you were doing that, and it's like, okay, well, at least we got our guy. For example, you look at other teams. Like, guys don't care if they got dead money as long as they got their guy.
Like the Broncos have Bo Nix and they're paying a majority of Russell Wilson's salary, but they don't really care.
No, they don't care because of all the problems they have. Bo Nix ain't one of them. They got 99 problems, but the Knicks ain't one. And so it just you're looking around, but then you have, in contrast, you got the Browns situation, and it's like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm sorry, that Deshaun Watson trade was worse than the Herschel Walker trade. But
oh my God, it's the worst trade in NFL history.
yeah, so
$36 million, and the guy isn't even taking snaps. It's kind of amazing.
But like you could even, here's the problem. You could even take Deshaun Watson off that list and it's still ugly. Like let's here. I'm gonna read that again. Let me just read that and not talk about the Watson one. Shedeur Sanders, I'll round it up. Shedeur, 1 million. Flacco, 1 million. Gabriel, 1.1. Winston, 2.2. Zappy, 300,000. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, roughly 200,000, and Kenny Pickett, 8,000. Even without mentioning Watson, that still looks bad.
By the way, Bailey Zappi just got signed this week.
And with whom again?
Bailey Zappi got signed this week.
No, but with whom again?
With the Browns.
Oh, that is with the Browns. Okay.
Yeah. He just got signed this week.
Holy cricket sandwich.
Cricket sandwich.
And here's what's crazy to me. Did you guys see this back on, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, with Coach Stefanski, when he was asked, who's going to be your number 2 QB?
Oh, yeah.
And like, he wouldn't commit to Shedeur. Like,
yeah, that was so bad.
it was interesting. I'll put it that way. I don't want to assume like as to what the reason was or one thing or another. And again, Shedeur, for as much of a celebrity as he was a 5th round pick. So he's not, nobody should assume that he's going to get any more favoritism than any other 5th round pick would. So I not only do I understand that, I respect that, because I think that's exactly how it should be played. But but when you drafted 2 quarterbacks and you're not sure that one of the quarterbacks that you drafted is going to be your number 2 quarterback on that day, that to me is what catches my attention more. Not so much that it's a Shedeur thing or that, whatever, but the fact that you drafted 2 quarterbacks and you're not sure that one of them is going to be, in week 6 is going to be, a top 2 quarterback on your depth chart. Like, to me, that's just,
yeah.
It caught my attention. I'll put it that way. I'm gonna stop myself from. I'm gonna reserve more judgment, but it definitely caught my attention. I'll put it that way.
Yep, definitely. All right. Well, for Brandon, for Scoop, for myself, sorry about the YouTube thing. I don't know why YouTube bugged at the beginning, but
that's so weird that it didn't catch us until like 15 minutes into our conversation.
Yeah, it was loading. It was loading, and it said we were live, and I was like, "What the hell?" I guess I gotta watch it load.
Sorry, I gotta jump in with something real quick because we were just talking about Brian Branch. Dan Campbell released a statement tonight saying, "I love Brian Branch, but what he did is inexcusable, and it's not going to be accepted here."
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that happened. So I apologize for our YouTube audience for that, and I guess our Spotify audience I'll try to fix it. But anyway. For Brandon, for Scoop, for myself, we'll see you back here on Monday night after the Monday Night Double and the NLCS. So we'll talk a little baseball as well. We're going to do Wind River. That's going to be a fun movie to talk about. I'm excited to talk about that tomorrow as well. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Let's go to bed. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. Good night, y'all.
Good night, everybody.